Let's begin with our metta.
Oh, that's what I forgot.
Okay.
I didn't see it. Is it here? Ah, there it is.
It is in the computer.
There it is.
Okay.
Now we can start.
Huh?
Now we can start here.
Okay, let us begin. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless living friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. As usual, with this metta in mind, let us practice our mindfulness. Pay attention to the breath. As you breathe in, you notice the breath touching your nostrils and then expanding your chest area and expanding lower abdominal area. As you breathe out, lower abdominal area contracts, chest area contracts, and the breath leaves the nostrils. These functions invariably take place all the time when we breathe in and out. And then we notice feelings arise and pass away, perception arises and pass away, thought arises and pass away, consciousness arises and pass away. When we see everything rising and falling, there is no any static moment. All we see is flux, change, coming and going, appearing and disappearing, rising and falling. When we see this, the mind naturally let go of any greed, desire to hold on to anything, because trying to hold on to anything is mere fruitless, futile effort. When that happens, the body relaxes, mind relaxes, the breath relaxes, and in this relaxed state of mind, our greed fades away. When greed fades away, mind becomes even more relaxed. In that state, metta feeling arises in us. Metta feeling does not arise when the mind is rigid, uptight, or full of resentment. When metta arises, along with that, compassion arises. Metta, when metta arises, resentment fades away, then compassion arises along with metta, then restlessness and worry fades away, and then we get more energy to continue our practice more vigorously and mindfully. Then our restlessness and worry or sleepiness and drowsiness fade away. When sleepiness and drowsiness fade away, we become even more glad to see the results, and then doubt fades away. Doubt arises when we don't know things clearly. Here we see in our own personal experience what is happening. That means we have the potential of developing our mind, letting go of our greed, anger, restlessness and worry, sleepiness and drowsiness. When they fade away, joy arises. When joy arises, it relaxes more our body and mind. In this relaxed state, joy arises. The joy leads to tranquility, what is called passaddhi in Pali, tranquility. When the mind and body are tranquil, they are called kaya passaddhi, chitta passaddhi. Body tranquility, mind tranquility. When both are in the state of tranquility, then happiness arises. The happy state is so subtle and so meaningful, peaceful, not agitation or excitement arise, but the mind and body are more peaceful, calm, quiet, hindrances are all subsided, and then we gain concentration. That concentration mind becomes very sharp, clear, and one-pointed. That state of mind is so powerful, we can notice any minute change take place in our body, feelings, perception, thoughts, and consciousness. And that shows how quickly things change and how that there is no any permanent entity called self or soul. When this arises, the mind is very calm and peaceful and more relaxed. Now let us try to practice and see how these things happen in our own practice. dukkha pattaca nidukkha bhaya pattaca nibbhaya soka pattaca nisoka hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. This is our metta wish that we make every day, every time, together. With this metta background, let us try to understand the meaning of the next section, which we started a couple of times ago, and today I hope to continue that. That is, we were explaining the meaning of one very profound part of the meditation, vipassana meditation. That part is called fetters. And we learn, according to the discourse, we learn the meditator understands the ear, and he understands the sounds, and he understands the fetter that arises dependent on both. And he also understands how there comes to be the arising of that particular fetter, and how the fetters are, how they are to be passing away. And when they pass away, he knows that it is passed away. Once it is passed away, he knows that it does not arise again. Now, what is this fetter? We mentioned there are 10 fetters, and we take one at a time to understand this. To explain this in clear language, or clear terms, I rely on a stanza given in Sutta Nipata, Tissa Metteya asked the Buddha a question. Answering that question, Buddha said in Pali, Yo ubhante viditvana majje manta nalipati tambrumi ma purisoti soda sibbani machaga. Having directly known both ends, by reflection one does not get stuck in the middle. I call him a great man. He has here transcended the seamstress. Now, seamstress is to be transcended. Now, when this discourse was brought to a discussion among several monks, One monk said the contact, phassa, is there are both ends. Having directly known both ends, what are the both ends? One end is contact, phassa. Second end is the arising of contact. The middle is the cessation of contact. The seamstress is the tanha, craving. So the craving is the binding factor, the middle. That is transcended by the wise one who has seen both ends. Yo Bhante abhinyaya. Abhinya means clearly penetrated. One who knows how to penetrate the seamstress. Now, what he does by reflection, one does not get stuck in the middle. The here reflection is 4 foundations of mindfulness. One who practices 4 foundations of mindfulness very diligently and very consistently with understanding. 4 foundations is not just a mere subject for discussion or to give lectures and so on. 4 foundations are to be experienced within oneself. The 4 foundations are the foundation of body, kaya anupassana, then foundation of feelings, vedana anupassana, then foundation of the mind, chitta anupassana. The last is reflection or contemplation of the Dhamma called Dhamma anupassana. Anupassana is a very special word we must remember. Anupassana means it is absolutely necessary component of vipassana. Kaya anupassana, seeing the body as it is. Anupassana means seeing as it is, not seeing with eyes. What we see with eyes is superficial appearance, where we do not see the seamstress that tries to connect the first end and the second end. When the first end and second end connected with the seamstress, one who practices anupassana, he will be able to transcend this seamstress. What does he see to transcend this seamstress? He sees rising and falling, rising and falling, rising and falling, rising and falling all the time in the minutest way. I repeat every day in my instructions, once you gain concentration, that concentrated mind can penetrate through the needle of the seamstress. The needle has a very tiny little hole. So concentration is so sharp, so clear, so powerful that it can see rising and falling at a lightning speed. When one sees things that clearly, so speedily changing, then that individual also understands, realizes that holding or trying to catch or holding or clinging to anything is impossible. Clinging is impossible. And that he sees with wisdom, with understanding, and that is called anupasana. Anupasana means seeing as it is, or seeing as it is happening. Kaya, what is happening to Kaya, the body, is this rising and falling, appearing and disappearing. In this appearing and disappearing body, there is no place for you to hold. Every moment, every cell, everything is rising and falling, rising and falling, rising and falling. Only when we gain good concentration can we notice this very subtle, deepest changes taking place in us. This is called impermanence, anicca. So the vipassana meditator, in order to get rid of this same stress, the binding factor, must see impermanence. Vipassana meditator is not practicing vipassana if he does not have anupasana. Anupasana is this knowing, seeing, this changes, this impermanence exactly as it is. What it is also many times I mentioned, it is called yatha bhuta jnana darsana, knowledge and vision of things as they really are. Really are is changing, not something static. So the person would not try to get stuck in the middle. Why he doesn't try to get stuck in the middle? Because he cannot. He cannot get stuck. Why cannot? Because it is changing. It is impermanent, rising and falling, rising and falling. And this is a very important factor in vipassana meditation. If one does not see impermanence in the body, in the feelings, in perceptions, and in thoughts, that person is not practicing vipassana meditation. No matter how long one pays attention to breath, that person does not practice vipassana meditation if the person does not see impermanence. And therefore, so if the person does not see impermanence, seamstress or the binding factor works very hard to infiltrate the mind. So the mindful meditator would not let the seamstress intervene or infiltrate the experience of impermanence. And therefore, that is how the person gets rid of this binding factor called fetter. The fetter. Fetter does not have time or space or place to hold on to anything if the mindful meditator sees the truth of rising and falling in a minutest way. So, by reflection, one does not get stuck in the middle, means reflection on the four foundations. Now, that is why in Mahasatipatthana Sutta, impermanence is very heavily underscored in every section. For instance, in Kaya Anupassana, mindfulness of the body, one sees rising and falling and rising and falling. The sutta says, Samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasming virati, Vaya dhammanupassiva kayasming virati, Samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kayasming virati. The meditator lives seeing rising the body, rising body. Seeing the body in the body means seeing any part of the body. Any part of the body is a body. Every cell is a body. Every cell has its own individuality, in its own personality, its own power, its own protein, vitamin, so forth and so on. And each cell, therefore, is an individual part of this body. So the body has 50 trillions of cells, then that means we have 50 trillions of bodies in this large body. This large body is made up of those 50 trillions of bodies. And each of them, every moment we breathe in and out, each of these cells also becomes sort of vitalized and becomes weak or lose energy in it. So it comes to life when oxygen reaches them. Then when oxygen is not there, it dies. Then new cells arise, and so forth. And therefore, samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasming virati, the meditator sees rising of the body among bodies and passing vaya dhamma, passing of the body in the bodies. And then samudaya vaya dhamma means altering before it disappears. Altering also is taking place so quickly, and it is very sharp, clear, mindful awareness of what really is there all the time, what really is happening. We cannot say is there, we have to say what is happening each moment. Similarly, the feelings, every moment among many feelings, one particular feeling arises and that feeling passes away, and in between these feelings keeps altering. That is why rising of feeling he notices, falling he notices, falling he notices, and he notices rising and falling. Rising and falling is altering. Before it disappears, it alters and disappears. Similarly, mind we mentioned earlier, you cannot isolate the mind or consciousness from other mental contents. That is why in the mindfulness section of the consciousness section, it is explained as consciousness with greed, consciousness without greed. When we see greed, consciousness is there as a nucleus. So, consciousness does not arise without greed. Greed cannot arise without consciousness. And therefore, consciousness always needs something for it to appear. And then Dhammanupassana, the last section we are now discussing, also Dhamma means mind objects. Everything that we have seen, heard, smelled, touched and tasted and thought in the past. Past means a minute ago, 2 minutes ago, hour ago, days ago and so on. Whenever they arise and pass away, that becomes the past. So, those things becomes the mind objects after they pass away. While we are experiencing, we experience them through other 5 senses. When they disappear, we remember them, and when they appear as memory, then they become mind objects. And even these mind objects, such as this fetters, also rise and fall, and they don't stay the same even for 2 consecutive moments. So, the mindful meditator knows the beginning, knows the end, and knows the middle, that is cessation. So, the person will become fully aware of the cessation, that is the middle. When he is fully aware of the cessation, that individual does not try to hold on to that cessation, disappearing. The middle, which is called otherwise, seems that it is the middle, the one who tries to hold on to. So, one monk said contact is the one end, and arising of contact is the middle, and passing away of contact is the, no, one end is the contact, other end is rising of contact, middle is the cessation of contact, and then the seamstress is the craving. So, as soon as it ceases, contact ceases, seamstress will come and try to connect the mind with the next moment. But one who knows and sees this reality does not let seamstress or tanna or craving to intervene to connect this with this moment with the next moment and let it go. Similarly, the second monk, as I said, there was a conference. In the conference, and the monks took this subject as their topic, and they repeated this. Buddha said that having directly known both ends, by reflection one does not get stuck in the middle. I call him a great man. He is here transcended the seamstress. When this question was brought to discussion, one monk said, among both ends, one monk said contact is the first end. The arising of contact is the second end. Its cessation is the middle. Then the second monk said the past is one end, and then future is the second end, and the present is the middle. Present is the middle. And seamstress is the craving is trying to connect the past with the future in the middle without letting it cease. Past, when it comes to the present, it ceases. It will not continue to the future. But the seamstress or desire is so strong that the present seamstress want to continue the present to the future, the past to the future, and not accepting the cessation in the middle. So the mindful meditator, knowing this, would not let that happen. Then the third monk said, pleasant sensation is one end, and unpleasant sensation is the second end, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant sensation is the middle. So the seamstress is the craving. Now, neither pleasant nor unpleasant is the middle, is one end. Cessation is the middle. Now, neither pleasant nor unpleasant, pleasant is the middle, which is called the middle, the present, and that middle, neither pleasant, unpleasant, always has the underlying tendency of confusion. Sukha Vedana, pleasant sensation, has greed as underlying tendency. Unpleasant sensation has hatred or anger as underlying tendency. The middle, neither pleasant nor unpleasant sensation, has the confusion as underlying tendency. Why does it have confusion? What is the confusion there? Confusing is not seeing the beginning and ending of neither pleasant nor unpleasant sensation. That is the confusion. And that confusion will be strengthened by seamstress, by trying to connect the pleasant sensation with the future, ignoring the middle. Then the fourth monk said the mentality is one end, materiality is the second end, and consciousness is in the middle. Mentality is one end. Mentality, as you know, are contact, feeling, perception, thought, and attention. These 5 factors together are called mentality. And materiality, rupa, is made up of 4 elements. And then these two are connected by the consciousness, vijnana. And this vijnana is ceasing. Mentality ceases, materiality ceases, vijnana ceases, and yet seamstress try to hold on to them. Then the fourth monk said the 6 internal bases are one end, 6 external contact or objects of these senses is the second end, and there again vijnana, consciousness, is the middle. And this consciousness, as we mentioned in Mahatanna Sankhya Sutta, Venerable Sati mentioned, it is the same consciousness that goes from life to life and so forth. And because of this, that is because of the seamstress. Seamstress means the desire. Desire wants the consciousness to continue from life to life. But consciousness arises depending on the senses and sensory objects. It does not something that exists all the time. But the seamstress or desire want it to exist all the time. So one who does meditation and see the truth of rising and falling will not let seamstress to make it happen permanently. And the last one sixth monk said the notion of permanent self is one end, and the arising of notion of permanent self is the second end, and the cessation of the permanent notion of permanent self is the middle. So what seamstress does is intervene with the middle and does not want to let it cease, let it disappear. Therefore, that is called fetter. So, fetter always is trying to hold on to something. Mindful meditator who practices 4 foundations of mindfulness does not let that happen. So that is how that person can get rid of his fetter. So this discourse says, this section says, when he understands what the fetter is and how the fetter arises, when the fetter passes away, he knows that. When the fetter, unarisen fetter arises, he knows. When the arisen fetter passes away, he knows then that passed away fetter will not arise again. That is completely destroyed. Knowing this, seeing this, he continues his practice. I hope to end this talks on fetters. First I gave the list of 10 fetters, and then I took time to explain this, how this happens. And if you have any question about the fetters and the explanation that I gave several times, if they are not clear, please write questions for tomorrow, and I will answer them as much as I can. With this, I want to end this morning session, and as usual, I want to share merits of our metta with all other beings, everybody. That is, may all those who are suffering from this COVID-19, may they recover from that as quickly as possible and come to normal health. And there are some who have lost their loved ones. They have been grieving, and I hope they come to understanding Dhamma and overcome their grief. There are many people in hospitals and taken care of by doctors and nurses, and they are very compassionate people, dedicating their life to help others, and may they continue their service diligently and may not affected by this virus and live long in good health to support people. There are some leaders who have done wonderful job to help. Because of the nature of this virus, it is in some places getting out of hand, out of control, and yet we want to wish the success for all of them. Other leaders who have not been able to be successful in this, may they have patience, courage, understanding and insight and wisdom to make wise decision to help people. With this metta wish, may I end retreat at the morning session, and thank you all for participating and encouraging. We all join together. We all join together. This is not one person's effort. we are all together wishing with very sincere metta, happiness, peace, and for all beings, and may they live long in good health, and this is our wish.